Today, we're going to be helping our friends at Outdoor Vitals to make $10,000 in 5 minutes time. Pat from Intergrowth here. We're back with our latest e-commerce SEO and AEO audit series. Today, we're going to be helping our friend Derek Rasmussen, the marketing director over at Outdoor Vitals. So, a couple ground rules. For these audits, we're allowed to take 15 minutes to analyze the brand. And with that, we then have a 5 to 10 minute window to pull together recommendations that they can implement without any sophisticated developer understanding in under 10 minutes time that's going to help them to make about $10,000. Today, we have a couple things. The first two things on here are going to make them $10,000, and then everything else is going to be a little bit of a bonus. But with that, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to walk through the biggest opportunities that we're seeing for them. And if you're listening to this and you're not the Outdoor Vitals team, I'd encourage you to look at the exact same things for your site as well. So the first thing that's going to pop up right in here that this alone, as I said, is going to make them $10,000 is Google Merchant Center. When we look for the Outdoor Vitals brand in Google Merchant Center, right now, the only versions of products that pop up are versions of the Outdoor Vitals products that are sold by other retailers. So Derek, if you guys haven't set this up, and it might be this is an intentional relationship that you have with retailers, but assuming that's not the case, one thing I would really recommend doing is download that Google and YouTube Shopify app and go through the process of integrating Shopify with Google Merchant Center. It's a process that you can have a rudimentary version set up in probably an hour's time, maybe 2 hours tops. This is the type of thing that alone, I would venture to say on the low end is going to make you guys about 2K per month in additional sales from that online shopping channel that's going to pop up in Google Analytics. So highly recommend set up your products on there. From there, you could do much more advanced optimizations with things like imagery, better product descriptions, you name it, all of which is going to relate to how you're integrating your product feed, how you're customizing it within your Shopify backend. This alone will easily make you 10K within the next 6 months. So as I said, under 2 minutes, we were going to get 10K. Everything else from there is a bonus. Now, the next thing that jumped out is we're looking at an element called broken backlinks. We've talked about this on a few past audits, but really high level, broken backlinks are scenarios where other websites on the internet are linking to a page on our website that no longer exists. So specifically with the Outdoor Vitals brand, we have a few scenarios where people are linking to like older Kickstarter pages. We even have Kickstarter popping in the mix right in here, linking to a product page that no longer exists. So it might be that this page was taken down intentionally. I suspect it was. What I would really encourage, though, is to redirect this URL and all of these other relevant URLs to either the new URL for that existing product page, or if that product doesn't exist, redirect users to the next closest thing that we have on our website. So that might be a case where if we don't have that exact same product, we redirect them to a really similar product or redirect them to a collections page URL in place of it. But either way, we have 268 cases of this. Not all those are going to be really high-end links, but there are some golden opportunities in here where we can redirect these URLs, recover the SEO value for them, and see rankings shoot up. Next thing that we're actually going to take a look at is the overarching traffic coming to pages on the website. So this is estimates. We don't have access to Outdoor Vitals is Shopify Analytics, Google Analytics, you name it. So this is strictly going off of third-party tools. Take it with a grain of salt. But we can see in here that there are quite a few different collections pages, PLPs, and product pages, PDPs, that are showing up as top pages on the site. Many of these pages see their top traffic keywords being branded versions of either the Outdoor Vitals company name or of the individual product. What actually struck us within here, though, is relative to what we'll see with most e-commerce brands, the collections pages or the PLPs are driving a relatively small amount of traffic. I would say 9 out of 10 e-com brands we work with see most of their organic search traffic coming from the homepage and these collections pages, maybe with 1 or 2 blog articles sprinkled in the mix. Here we have a lot of individual product pages that are clearly in high demand, clearly have a lot of like branded search volume attached to them, but we don't see collections pages popping up nearly as frequently. So the biggest opportunity outside of the 2 items we discussed that are going to be huge wins, that are going to lead to huge revenue lifts in a very short period of time, is actually to boost the rankings for these existing collections pages. Now, biggest opportunity that stands out that's going to be relatively minimal in terms of time investments involved is going to be looking at all of the existing blog content on the website and looking for opportunities within these past blog articles to include links to relevant collections pages. I pulled up one article right here, published in 2023. Derek, this is a phenomenal article. It's still getting traffic today, which is amazing to see. If we look in here specifically, we can see the traffic coming to this page has declined pretty substantially. We could see, in its peak, we were getting 400 sessions a month just from Google coming to this one blog article. Nowadays, Ahrefs is estimating we're getting like a little bit less than 50 people per month. So one, I would highly recommend go through and update this article. It has a ton of potential. It's likely getting outranked by articles that are just more recently updated than this one. This is a well-performing piece. It's well written, well thought out. Could just use a little bit of a facelift in order to start ranking better. But two, we looked at this. We looked at several other of the most recent blog articles on the website. We're linking to product pages very regularly within these blog articles. But from the articles we analyzed, there are no links to collections pages. So Derek, what I would recommend doing in particular is go through maybe the top 10 of the highest traffic generating blog articles on the website. Go through and see where can you link to any of these PLPs within these existing blog articles. That's going to give these PLPs a huge lift in terms of rankings and get a lot more qualified people coming to the site for those pages, which is going to bring you way more SEO and LLM related revenue. Now, the last opportunity I wanted to look at today is what we refer to as LLM sentiment analysis. And this is something that you can do without any robust tech stack. What we specifically do is we will go to an LLM or a series of LLMs, and we will ask that LLM for its perception of a specific brand or a specific product that we're looking to identify holes in. Specifically, here's the exercise we ran through with Outdoor Vitals. You can mimic this. You're going to see slightly different data points for each individual search that you run, depending on your past search history. But ultimately, we look in here, nothing crazy in here. I'm considering buying outdoor gear. What's your perspective on Outdoor Vitals? What we're specifically looking to see in here is a handful of different things, but the opportunity I want to focus on specifically for Outdoor Vitals is what I would refer to as unfair negative sentiment regarding your customer service. So here's what I mean. When we look at this, we'll see the same overarching flow in almost every time we prompt this with ChatGPT. We'll see a breakdown of what do you guys do really well? What are some common criticisms? And then what are some questions, either questions that I would consider asking or that the LLM would consider asking before buying, or what are the unique scenarios that you're really well positioned or really poorly positioned to serve them as a customer? What I want to specifically call your attention to right in here is under the common criticisms, ChatGPT specifically cites that you're getting mixed customer service experiences. When I look at the products, you guys have exceptional reviews on your website. The overwhelming sentiment I can find is extremely positive towards Outdoor Vitals. What we specifically see in here, if we click on this link right here about Outdoor Vitals, and I'm going to pull up the page right here, is there was one thread from Reddit posted 7 years ago where a few people are expressing a negative experience that they had with the business. When you've been around for as long as you guys have, that's going to happen. That's inevitable. You're not going to make every single person happy. We can see that this one negative review or this one discussion from 7 years ago that leaned negative in terms of customer service is being one of the biggest things that's ultimately being influenced by ChatGPT or is influencing ChatGPT and leading to ChatGPT thinking that maybe your customer service is just mixed in terms of quality. So what I would really recommend doing is putting your customer service hat on and thinking really critically about how as a team in the Outdoor Vitals brand voice, can you best respond to this specific opportunity, especially seeing that this conversation is still open. I'll bow to your judgment in terms of the best way to pursue this. But a few angles you could pursue are one, just contributing to the conversation. Two, you could reach out to these individual customers and see if you can remedy the situation in any way. But at the very least, getting involved in the conversation, seeing what you can do to remedy the situation. Because if we can find a way to override this negative sentiment, all of a sudden ChatGPT loses its main source of data for this belief it has that you're not as customer service oriented as I truly believe that you are. So with that, we're going to wrap up the breakdown here. But again, $10,000 if you focus on the first two things that I broke down, which is Google Merchant Center and fixing broken backlinks. Everything else is going to be a bonus in the mix, but excited to hear how this works out for you guys. So once again, listeners, audits@intergrowth.com. Send us an email if you would like us to audit your brand next. That's audits@intergrowth.com. I'm Pat. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again soon.